Summer power outages can occur for many reasons. Are you ready?
Experts have already started telling us that this summer we can expect some rolling power outages, some brownouts. There's definitely going to be some stress on the grid. Summer emergencies happen, like like storms, things like that happen that cause power outages. This is actually a video that many of you have asked us to do. You want to know what we have on hand in our home when it comes to power outages. Now, this is going to be at least a two-part video. We're going to cover just basically how you're going to supply power to your home during a power outage in this video. And then on Thursday, we'll do part 2 where we're going to talk a little bit more about keeping cool, cooking, keeping comfortable, things like that. So make sure that you are with us on Thursday for the second part of this video.
No doubt you want to consider several options for backup power sources in the event of a summer power outage. And Hope and I are going to cover the items that we use when we have these situations. You never know when a power outage is going to occur, so it's always good to be prepared. You'll want some power, especially for your cell phones, anything that you use for communications, being able to listen to weather reports, news items. You want to know what's going on, and you'll need power in order to have those items.
This whole month on the channel is all about what we are terming as preparedness, awareness, because I wanted two words that rhyme. Now, when it comes to preparing for the future, actually, the sponsor for today's video has been such an amazing help to us. Creekmore Wealth Advisors, John Creekmore and the team over there have actually helped us to be able to take this list of goals that we had. John helped us to figure out how we wanted to prioritize that list and definitely the goals that we felt we wanted to work on next. So if you're in the same boat as we are and you could use a little bit of help in that area, make sure that you contact John and the team at Creekmore Wealth Advisors. There's going to be a link in the description of the video.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our smallest power supplies and work up to the big ones. So let's start with USB battery banks. Now, one of the largest battery banks that I own is this 32,000 milliampere system that we got from Tautronics. And this is an amazing little system. It will power 3 USB items at one time. And it can be charged with 2.4 amp charging here, and it takes about 7 hours to fully charge it. Although I've never fully discharged it because it has so much storage available. The way that you can tell the storage is you hit the on button and there's 4 LEDs that give an indication of how much it has. Every 25% it lights up another light, and this is fully charged as it turns out. So this can be used to charge your cell phones. You can actually run a cell phone for one whole week using this charger without having to recharge it. And it'll go like 11 days on other items that use less power. So this is really great to have.
As we go through the video, if you're interested in learning more about any of the products that we talk about, there will be links to all of them in the description of this video. This is definitely Larry's jam, guys. You're going to hear him talk a whole lot more on this video than you hear me talk on this video, because for years he has been really super interested in making sure that we are prepped and ready for emergencies.
Yeah, I love being prepared. And, you know, guys and gadgets just kind of go together. I love gadgets, so this is just kind of fun for me.
I don't know. I think girls and gadgets go together, too. Tell me, ladies, in the comment section if you agree with me.
Okay. So the item that Hope is holding up, this is a NOCO model GB40, and it incorporates the ability to jumpstart your car, and it'll put exactly 1,000 amps into your car battery when it's not able to start. it will actually start a car that has a 6-liter engine in it. So that's a pretty good size engine. So that will jumpstart most vehicles. So that's kind of an unusual thing that it'll do for its size. It's very small and lightweight. It will also, of course, charge your cell phone or your tablet. It has a USB port on it. And it has another feature that I really like, and I actually use it quite a bit. And that is it has a built-in 100 lumen flashlight. So there it is, has 2 LED bulbs. It also tells you the state of charge on the battery with all these LEDs that are lit up. When it lights up green, that one's lit up. That means it has a full charge on its battery. The next one, this is probably more common. This is a 10,000 milliampere hour, a little smaller battery bank. And I actually use this battery bank. I use it all the time to charge up my bicycle accessories. I use it to charge up the LED lights, front and rear, and also my little Bluetooth speaker that I have on 2 of my bicycles. And that way I don't have to remove those items off the bike. This is very handy. It's very portable.
You're going to find this is a reoccurring theme throughout this video where we talk about how to use these devices, how to charge them, and then use those devices in order to power the items that you really want to have power to during an emergency. And a reminder, we're talking just backup power in this video because it would have been way too long for us to cover everything that we really want to convey to you about what to do during summer power outages. So on Thursday, we're going to cover the rest of the topics, talk about staying cool, staying comfortable, definitely cooking, and then we'll throw in some other devices and different ideas that we have for you for summer power outages.
And I want to mention, we are putting links in for these devices, but this one here is a little bit too old. They don't make this model anymore. So we put a link in for one that's very similar. If I want to charge these on solar though, I have another way that I do it, and that will be coming up a little bit later on. So you'll want to stay tuned to this video. And while we're talking about USB power banks, I've got 2 items that you might not think of as being power banks. This is our Tough Light lantern. Now we use this for emergencies too. We'll talk more about this one on Thursday, but it does have a feature on it that fits in with power supplies. And on the back, there is a USB port for charging your phones or any devices that charge off of USB. The other item, this is also an item that you wouldn't think of as being a portable battery bank, but this is a JBL Charge 4 Bluetooth speaker. And on the back, you'll see a USB port here that can be used for plugging in devices.
When it comes to batteries, there's actually only one brand of rechargeable battery that Larry and I recommend, and he's going to tell you why.
Well, this is, let me get these out here. This is called the Any-Loop battery. These are AA batteries. We use these in flashlights, and they're excellent batteries. And let me tell you why they're so good. They're nickel metal hydride batteries, and those are a better battery. They take a lot more charges. You can charge these batteries 2,100 times. Isn't that amazing? They retain 70% of their charge after 10 years of no use. And I think that's amazing. This is what makes them so good for emergency backup. You may forget to charge them, but if you put them away 100% charged when you need them, they're going to be there for you.
He has used them and used them hard, and they still retain their charge very, very well, and they're still working after 14 years.
We're going to put a link in for it's a Panasonic brand charger. The battery charger is really cool because the old battery chargers for AA's and AAA's used to do the charging in pairs. You would charge 2 batteries at a time. You always had to have 2. Well, a lot of flashlights use 3 of these. Well, this battery charger will do single batteries at a time. It'll do 1 battery at a time. It'll do 3 at a time. And it'll do any combination of AAA and AA batteries at the same time. They've come a long way in technology with rechargeable batteries.
That's the last of the small items we're going to show you on the video. One of the questions we've gotten from a lot of viewers is, I live in an apartment. What can I do for emergency backup power? Literally everything that we just showed you on the first half of the video, you can use even if you live in an apartment. But there actually are some options for you if you live in an apartment and you want, let's say, a little heftier power source to keep on hand.
Right. So behind me, we've got this lamp, and it's been in a lot of our photos. But as you can see here, I've got a Duracell AGM battery, and it's running this inverter right now, which is powering the light. So that light is actually running off of battery power right now. This was the very first system that I ever used for power outages. This is a Duracell 35 amp per hour AGM battery. And this was, these were around before portable power stations were even invented. So this was the first type of system that I ever put together, was using one of these batteries. And then all you need is an AC inverter. This changes 12 volts from the battery to 110 volts that you can use on any of your electrical appliances, as long as they fall within the wattage rating of your inverter. So with a 35 amp per hour battery, I wouldn't recommend an inverter over 500 watts. If you get much higher than that, you're going to need a lot more battery in order to supply the power for it.
It'll just run it down more quickly, right?
It will. It will.
It might work for a real short period of time, though.
This is a pure sine wave inverter, and it's also a commercially made one, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive. What is pure sine wave? You're probably wondering that. It is the perfect type of current that comes from your household. There is another kind of inverter that uses a square wave, and it's not as refined as this one, and that would be one like this. This is 150 watt. It's designed to be plugged into your car, cigarette lighter, but these can actually can power our 47-inch TV using this inverter. It also provides power to our modem. So if we lose power and we want to get on the computer right away, I hook this battery up and this inverter to our modem, and as long as we've got a charge on our computers, immediately we're back online and we can get news reports and kind of find out what's going on.
So although they may want to run their television and maybe their modem off of this square wave inverter, they're not going to want to run their computer off of it. So explain why.
You probably could run a computer for a while off of it. The problem with the square wave, it's not a pure electrical power source. So if you're running anything with fans or motors, a motor requires that sine wave in order to have the AC 60 cycles per second. It's got to be a real nice rounded sine wave. The square wave is a little jerky for those. It will run lights. Now, LED lights won't run quite as bright off of these, I've noticed. They'll run the old compact fluorescent lights pretty good. What you do with this battery is you bring it up to a full 100% charge, take it off the charger, do not put it on a trickle charger. It doesn't like that kind of power. A car battery does, this battery does not. What you charge it with is, this is a Schumacher 3 amp 12 volt battery charger. You can get these on Amazon. They run right around the $45 amount. And this will have a button on it. You press it for this type of battery, it'll be a lead acid. As we mentioned, this is a commercial grade power inverter, and it really costs around $190. It's very expensive. It'll last forever. If you don't want to put that kind of money out, you can get a B-Stack power inverter, and it's a pure sine wave. It's not one that I own, so I really can't endorse it.
This is a little bit awkward to carry around the house. There is a unit, an all-in-one unit that we have a couple of them that will do what this does, only that it makes it very convenient so everything is together, and it is a literal portable power station, and I can use these guys.
This is cheaper than the portable power stations. It's about half the price for the amount of power it puts out. And so if you don't buy this unit, you actually can put this together with a cheaper sine wave inverter for around $230. So it is cheap, but here's a
It is like a DIY thing though. You gotta
put
it together.
You do. You have to put it together. You're shooting blind with this. There's no metering on it. You can't tell how much power is left in the system. This is it's a cheap system. It'll get you by, but it's not going to be quite as good as a power station.
Hey, we really want to hear from you in the comments section. These are what we have on hand to deal with summer power outages and to prepare for them and make sure that we have the ability to supply power to the items we want to power. But we want to know from you, what do you have on hand for summer power outages? Tell us about it in the comments section of the video. Hey, if you're finding the information in this video helpful, would you do us a favor? Make sure that you hit that thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss any of our great content coming up. If you are like me and you don't want to carry a whole bunch of stuff around your house when there's a power outage, this is the solution. This is the all-in-one unit. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. This is 24 pounds. I can easily carry it from point A to point B. Not only that, it is so easy to understand and use that if Larry calls me from work or he's not here and calls and says, hey, it's a great sunny day, would you take the Outages out in the front yard or in the backyard and hook up the solar panels and charge it while I'm gone? I can do that completely without him here. And I have no problem setting that up myself.
As Hope said, it's very portable. It's easy to carry around. And so this makes it a very useful thing around the house. Now, we've done an entire video on this unit. I did a review for it last winter. So if you want to look at that, we'll leave a link for that in this video. They'll give you a lot more details on it. So we're just going to give you a kind of a quick overview this time. So they do have a 1200 watt unit now instead of the 1100. So it's just a little bit beefier. It has pretty much all the same features that this one does. The 3 AC outlets, the USB outlets. The one is a C and one is an A USB. That has different types. It has one input for solar or for the power brick that comes with it. If you want to charge it with its own supplied power brick, it'll take about 6 hours to charge that way, and it'll take about 7 hours or so to charge with 2 solar panels. It all depends on the sunlight. It depends on the angle of the sun, depends on how well you track it with the panels. You have to keep the sun coming directly into the panels. If it's a kind of a partly cloudy day, that will diminish its ability to charge, and of course it will not charge if it's cloudy.
But we've had a lot of luck, power outages or not. We charge this all the time and use it to do things like he uses this unit to charge his electric bike. And it holds its charge really, really well. So if you charge it to 100% and go back like weeks later, it's still going to be at 100%.
Oh, I've actually left it alone for a couple of months at a time, and it's still showing 100% charged. And this, the advantage of this over the other system we were showing you is it gives you a very accurate readout on everything that the battery is doing. So when you're drawing power, it'll tell you how many watts it's drawing. It'll tell you how many hours and minutes this will supply the power at that usage rate. It also tells you when you're charging it, how many hours it will take to fully charge at the rate that that power is coming in. So you really know what's going on, and it tells you the battery power in percentage. It's an excellent unit, very well made, heavy, beefy. I like it. And it has an LED light on the back. And so this is handy when you lose power, especially at night. The first thing you lose is your lighting. So this gives you some lighting to work with right away when you're trying to find things. And we've used this it'll actually power your garage door opener. It's powered our coffee makers, lighting, entertainment system. I can get 2 charges for the e-bike off of this. It will, and because it's
I'm so sorry, it started flashing. I was like, it makes me look like I'm some sort of a horror film. Wait.
Like, there it is. It has that SOS feature on it.
Get that out.
Oh no, I'll leave it in. Because this is a pure sine wave inverter, and most all of these systems, all of the portable power stations have a pure sine wave inverter. You can safely power anything that this will handle. We have another power station that's a little bit bigger than this one, the Big Brother, and we'll talk about that next.
If you want to know everything that we powered in our home, what it would power and what it would not power the Outages 1100, make sure you take a look at our review video. We'll make sure, once again, there's a link to that in the description of this video and up above. This, my friends, is the brand new Outages. This is an 1800 watt unit, and we are super happy with it. It does some things that the 1100 watt unit didn't do.
Yeah, they actually came out with this unit this year, and Outages sent this to us to review it, and we'll have a review on this unit next Monday. That's a week from tonight. This is an amazing beast. It has almost double what the 1100 had, and I can charge my e-bike 3 times on this unit. It's only showing 25% power, and that is because I charged my bike twice off of it, and I also ran our microwave oven on it just a little bit ago. Now this one will run the microwave, whereas the other one will not. That's the other thing that the 1100 will not run. The microwave draws about 1600 watts, and because this one's an 1800 watt unit, it'll handle that.
It runs our sump pump. I think the 1100 ran our sump pump as well, though.
This would run it longer.
Right. So, yeah, that's the whole idea. It will run things longer. It will run our dryer, partial loads through the dryer. Real heavy loads, it wouldn't turn the drum. Now, we've been working our way from smallest to largest in this video, and we're about to get to the largest thing that we have for backup power.
Yeah, before we get to that, I just want to say this one is pretty heavy. Now, the other one was 24 pounds. Yeah, this one is 40 pounds, so not quite as portable.
It does have pass-through power. Right before we move to our very last form of backup power, it's got pass-through ability, which means that you can use it while simultaneously charging it. And that may be important to some of you to know that you can use it while you're actually charging it up. We've made our way to the largest source of backup power that we have.
Yeah, this is the largest we have. It's not the largest they make. There are bigger ones than this, but this is as far as we go down the power backup highway. We have a gas powered generator. Now, these are only going to be useful for you if you own your own house or if you rent a house where you can put this out on your own land. If you're in an apartment, you're on the second story, you're certainly not going to be able to use a gas-powered generator. The one that I have, and I've had this for several years, this is a 3,500 watt Briggs & Stratton Brute. It's sold through Menards, but you can buy these online, and they go for right around
about $450.
Yeah, right around $450 on Amazon. You can buy these at different outlets. For instance, I think Lowe's has these, Menards has them. So look for them to go on sale if you want to pick up one. This is very handy because honestly, it'll power everything in the house except the central air. So the unit that we bought is a 3,500 watt unit with a peak power of 5,200 watts. Now, why is peak power an essential in an item like this? Anything you're running that has a motor has a surge at the beginning of its cycle. As soon as you plug it in, it has a surge power. So as long as your item will cover the surge, you'll be able to operate that as long as it's within the operating watts. So this one I actually purchased originally to run our sump pump, but now our other battery banks will run that sump pump. I'm talking about the portable power systems, the power stations. So what do we do with this? This is kind of an interesting story. When we have a power outage, it takes me a half an hour to hook this thing up. It's on wheels. I wheel it around to the backyard and I start plugging in extension cords, starting usually with the sump pump if it's been storming and we have water coming into that pump. So that'll be my priority. Then I'll run wires in for our kitchen, lights, entertainment, coffee maker, microwave oven, and we can even run the washer and dryer off of these. I don't run everything at once. I might unplug something just to make sure it doesn't overpower it. Then I run extension cords upstairs, and we have lighting upstairs in the bathrooms. So it takes me a half an hour to hook this puppy up. And I know, I need to get a transfer switch.
Yes,
and
you do.
sometime we'll get a transfer switch put in. So all I have to do is plug it in to one place, and it will supply power to all of our major outlets except the central air. But it will run the furnace. If I get the furnace running on it, it'll run the furnace motor. It just won't run that 220 AC pack out in the backyard. So what are the advantages to a gas-powered generator? The first advantage, and this should be very obvious, it is a lot cheaper to purchase initially than any of the power stations are. This unit, you can usually get these for under $500 for a smaller one. They run continuously as long as you have gas. Now, last year we had a windstorm come in August, and it pulled the power lines down, the trees came down over the power lines, and we were without power for 3 days. But I had this hooked up to our 2 refrigerators and our freezer, even the garage door opener, and we were able to run the whole house for 3 days while I kept gas supplied into that generator. Of course, you have to have gas to run it, so you'll need to have some gas on hand at your home in order to keep this supplied.
A couple of disadvantages that you may want to consider: the fact that if there is an emergency, gas may be in short supply. Also, the gas stations have to have power in order to run the gas pumps. So you may not be able to even get gas if you can get to the gas station. So as Larry mentioned, having a little bit of extra gas on hand might be helpful for you. The other thing is these things are loud. Now, we're aware that there are some quieter models. To be honest with you, the models that were quieter were about twice what we paid for the not so soft version of this product. So yeah, they're a little bit noisy, but I'm going to be honest with you, during those 3 days that we had power outages, all you heard all around the neighborhood was everybody else that had one of these gas powered generators that was running their generators. So nobody complained.
And they didn't have the Honda units that are real soft. Now this one isn't terribly loud. I've heard louder ones. This isn't as loud as some of the larger units, but nobody complained at all to us. Nobody complained because, as Hope pointed out, they were running theirs too. Now, you have a couple of other things about this unit that's different from the power stations. The power stations require little to no maintenance. This one uses, of course, a gas engine. It uses oil. Every year, you have to change the oil. You have to start it once a month, make sure it's running, and I do that. I don't want to be without the power generator, that's for sure. You want it to, you never know when you're going to need it, so you're going to want it when you need that power generator. So every 30 days, I run it for about 10 minutes under a load to make sure it's going to be okay. And the other thing is you have to make sure that you use some safety precautions. This does put out carbon monoxide. You want to keep it about 20 feet from your home. You want to make sure that the wind's blowing away from your home. If it's blowing toward it, you have to get it in a position where it's going to be blowing those fumes away. And so I keep it downwind and about 20 feet. And I check it from time to time just to make sure we're not leaking anything inside the house.
Oh, that is, of course, one of the advantages of the portable power stations that we showed you is the fact that those are designed to be used in your home. So they are perfectly fine to bring in the house, but never ever bring anything that is a gas-powered generator into your house.
Oh, no, no. Mm-mm.
Remember to learn more about how to keep cool and comfortable during summer power outages, as well as how to cook, ideas for that, and finally, like some things you might want to have on hand to keep in touch with emergency information that you may need to be aware of. We're going to cover all of that in the video on Thursday, so make sure you're subscribed and you hit the bell notification button. As far as this information, if it's been helpful to you, remember to hit that thumbs up button and share this video with others. Now, this video was specifically about summer power outages, but we actually did a video that was more focused a little bit on winter power outages and some things that you might want to have on hand, products that actually work during power outages. You'll find that linked right over there, and that's the video you may want to watch next.